On this episode, we talk about Seth Rollins' fiancé creating controversy, Sting accepting Triple H's challenge, NXT Takeover Rival predictions, and the WrestleMania 31 main event now on Byte That. Hey everybody, what's going on? You're listening to episode 77 of Byte That, the somewhat maybe international professional wrestling podcast where we talk about the ups and downs of that which we love, which are posting unauthorized pictures on the internet. Thanks for tuning in, checking out the show, and remember we are available every single Tuesday night on Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iTunes, ByteThat.com, and of course, YouTube.com/ByteThatCast. My name is Juan Velas. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and joining me tonight, all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Keith Poshik. How you doing, bro?
Well, Juan, I apologize ahead of time for the inevitable pictures that I will probably send out at some point in my life that really hurt Byte That's integrity. So consider this my forewarned apology. But even though I'm here, I think the bigger story is the hole that's missing.
I know, guys, and we're not talking about that one. We won't get to Seth Rollins things yet, but unfortunately, Ryan could not be here with us tonight. He passed away. He's actually got some work commitments, so he's not here, but he'll be back next week. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, Sting. Yeah, we got to bring up the Seth Rollins situation, as well as NXT Takeover Rival, which takes place on February 11th on the WWE Network. Keith, you ready for it?
I am ready. I'm somewhat disappointed that they didn't do witty wordplay again this time, but we take what we can get.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make the best of it. But we do got to bring up quickly the Seth Rollins thing. I was debating whether or not to put it in the agenda. Come on now, we were adults.
Yes, adults.
But we got to bring it up because obviously what happened was, for those that don't know, go above that rock that you're in right now. And basically during Raw, 2 pictures of Seth Rollins leaked out. Now, of course, everybody was stating that they were fakes. It was just basically Rollins' genitalia was exposed, his quite beautiful six-pack and all that goodness. Everybody thought it was fake until, lo and behold, his fiancé apparently tweeted them out in his account or another account or something like that.
If there was a person on this planet to confirm that it was Seth Rollins' junk, she would be the person.
Yeah, exactly. It's his fiancé, you know. You got to wonder how bad that situation is because he was apparently having an affair with a new NXT diva, which I don't know how much of a future she has in the company right now, but hey.
Hopefully wrestling isn't her dream.
Yeah, so a little bit of an awkward conversation, but what was your thought when this happened? Obviously, we would get into any physical details about the picture. We're not here to talk about that, but more of just, this doesn't really happen with a guy that is not only on top of the company, but this happened during Raw. So imagine that frustration, the chaos that was happening backstage.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And as far as reaction goes, I just felt bad for Seth Rollins. Like, did he actually post it, or did his phone get hacked? Has that been confirmed yet, or?
I haven't really kept up too much.
All right, I'm talking about the picture of the NXT diva, of course.
Oh, the picture of the NXT diva, I'm not too sure about that because I know that his fiancée posted a picture of the diva to sort of get back, apparently also. Mm-hmm. But then she also posted the pictures of Seth Rollins.
Oh, so Seth didn't post any of them. It was his fiancée using his Instagram then?
Yeah, using his social media account. So that was what made it worse because if it was just her account, it'd be like, all right.
Because didn't it show up on the account. Yeah? Didn't it show up in the WWE ticker on WWE.com for a moment?
Probably because it was posted with his Twitter account, I believe it was. So, yeah, it got mainstream worldwide exposure. Yeah, and exposure using every sense of the word, really.
Indeed. No, it's just so unfortunate. It's just one of those things. Like we talk a lot about how social media is almost like a blessing in wrestling because you get to really be involved 24/7. But this is one of the situations where it's a curse because, man, is it dangerous with stuff like that.
No, definitely, man. And just think about your Seth Rollins. Now, we're not here to judge anybody. So what, he maybe cheated on his fiance. We're not Oprah. We're not, Ellen. We're not here to talk about his personal life. But, your life is exposed every single week on Monday Night Raw, and then you're sitting backstage. Can you imagine that conversation that was happening? Like, hey, so why'd you post that picture, Seth?
Yeah. No kidding, especially being a guy that's so integral to the show. Like, were they just like, hey, we'll deal with this after the show. Let's just get through Raw. Or was it like somebody posted on Squared Circle this thing that I imagine it was like, where everybody was just trying to convince, like, to make it not obvious that Vince should see it, like, hey, Vince, you should come over here for a moment, or let me go fight this midget.
What do you mean, kid?
Yeah, what's an Instagram? But no, it was probably hectic and chaotic and just a very unfortunate situation all around.
Now, this is happening about a week after we had Triple H on Stone Cold's podcast, where he was mentioning the reason that China was not going to ever be inducted pretty much was because of her porn career. Obviously, Seth Rollins is no porn star, but, I mean, this is out there. This picture's out there that people can have definitely seen. I mean, we're talking about the fact that 12, 13, 14-year-olds that follow him on Twitter seen this. So what do you think can really come out of this? Not just for Seth, but, I mean, there's got to be a lot of guys that take pictures like that. But, hey, this one came to light.
I mean, you also got to consider the fact that both Bellas have had a wardrobe malfunction live on TV at this point. Like, I don't really think much will come out of it. And as far as the whole China comparison, the big difference is that after a couple weeks, this will just pass. The only people that will be talking about it are people making jokes about it, probably on like the big wrestling communities and stuff. But everybody will forget about this small little isolated situation.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he had to apologize, which kind of sucks, once again, removing the personal thing, because, I mean, he was technically the victim in the way that he had no say in posting that picture. He didn't post it on purpose. So,
like, they were unauthorized pictures at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I agree. It's going to blow over in 2-3 weeks. Referring to the picture, of course, people will completely forget about it, and then we'll move on to other things like WWE Fastlane.
Yeah.
On this week's episode, we got a little bit more confirmation as to what's going to be happening between Triple H and Sting. Now, they won't be having a match because, obviously, Sting likes to overcomplicate himself. He's pretty good with Photoshop, After Effects, because instead of just saying yes with Triple H, he had this amazing video package that Sting edited. Because, obviously, he didn't talk to any of the guys in the production truck.
No, that because kayfabe. The kayfabe is real.
Exactly, man. But what are your thoughts about the fact that we're going to be getting this face-off between Sting and Triple H at Payback? I mean Fastlane.
Yeah,
what am I talking
Payback.
about?
Wow, are they like going into the future to come back and then have a match and then probably have another?
We got Fight Night for that.
So what happens at Payback if Sting's still around? Does like some time warp happen and then the whole world crumbles in on itself?
We'll have to wait and find out, man. But let's talk about Fastlane. So stare down.
I mean, did you really expect it was going to be anything more than that? It's just going to be like the first lead up point into WrestleMania. And then I guess it's full sail from there, no pun intended. And then right into WrestleMania. I'm personally looking so forward to this match. It's crazy.
But of course, the match is one thing, but what's going to happen at Fastlane? I mean, Triple H mentioned the 14 years that Sting did not come into the WWE after WCW closed down, but aside from that, what can Sting realistically say that as you are a Sting fan, you watch Sting in TNA also, you were a fan of Joker Sting, what can he do that will not just make you care about this match, but will make you care about it, in a WrestleMania magnitude?
That's a very good question that, in complete honesty, I can't think of an answer to off the top of my head, because what does he say? Something on the lines of, I never liked how the WWE worked, so I worked everywhere else, and now I'm here to conquer this mountain. It's kind of a weird situation. Or maybe Sting doesn't say anything, and they just go with silent Sting.
And it's so interesting because Sting has never been exposed. I got to stop saying that word tonight. But
yes.
To this type of promo, because WCW's ways of cutting a promo in TNA are very different with WWE. WWE is way more paced. They have more silence. The commentary is way more integrated into the promo, sometimes a little bit too much. So you got to wonder, this is it. I mean, I don't really expect Sting to get any other type of feud after this. I don't think it's going to happen with Taker. So I mean, that's going to be it.
Plus, you got to consider who he's in the ring with. He's in the ring with Triple H. So that almost like, because you don't expect Triple H to hold any punches, really. So how does Sting react? It's a very interesting situation.
Quick comment, or question, I should say. What worry do you have about Sting's physical appearance for WrestleMania? Obviously, we've seen him with the coat and all that. I'm just a little afraid because Triple H is a very big guy, and Sting in his last TNA run, he was not in that great of shape. So I'm just a little worried that when he takes off that coat, I just really can't buy into that match.
I think he'll probably have some sort of attire like Old Crow Sting in WCW. Like, I think he'll be in a full body suit.
True.
So honestly, my biggest worry is ring rust, because I know Sting's been training, obviously, but does he really know the WWE style to the point where with like Triple H? That being said, he's probably in the ring with the best person to help learn that in Triple H. So, but maybe there's a bad botch because Sting's just not used to the style or something like that. That's probably the worst case scenario.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens. I think that Triple H is absolutely the best option because realistically, Sting and The Undertaker, neither of them are probably in the prime of their careers and by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, really.
So this is the happy medium. So now another thing we got to get to, out of the blue, we started getting Sheamus coming back promos. Now, they're not just Sheamus promos. Apparently, it seems like he's going to be having a heel turn. Was I the only one that got that type of feel?
Now, for a normal person, totally. But if you think about Sheamus as a character, his face persona is like this whole, I'm a bully, I'm going to beat you up. So maybe that's just an extension of that.
Yeah, last night we were watching Raw, and you were bringing up the fact that, if you're trying to push Roman Reigns and all these guys, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to push Sheamus as a babyface, because then you have John Cena, you got Roman Reigns, you got Daniel Bryan, you got all these guys, and I really do think Sheamus could benefit from this. But having said that, okay, so he's coming back. It's WrestleMania season. Who can he face?
So that's a dandy old question. Maybe Ambrose or Barrett or somebody like that?
Yeah, what if it became a triple threat feud? I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, totally. Because let's dissect it for a minute. Where else does he really fit on the card at this moment? Now, I know originally there were supposed to be plans for like Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus because they're hell-bent on having that match again at some point. But things have kind of changed in that respect. So where does Sheamus really fit, face or heel, on the card at the moment?
Another possibility. This is maybe stretching a little too far, but we have Rusev versus Cena at Fastlane for the U.S. Championship. What if he somehow gets inserted into that? So either he faces Cena as a heel. Obviously, this would imply that Rusev gets shoved down the card, which I'm not for. But realistically, I cannot see anything else for Sheamus until after WrestleMania.
Maybe that's how, because that match isn't going to end clean at Fastlane. So maybe Sheamus inserts himself there, and maybe that becomes a triple threat.
That would actually be pretty nice, because when's the last time John Cena has been in what is basically a mid-card feud, if you really think about it, but you actually add another element. At the same time, it also builds Rusev, but if you want to play devil's advocate, it can also take that spotlight away from him.
Totally. It'll be interesting. I never thought I'd use the word Sheamus and interesting again together, but here we are.
Hey, you turn him heel and, you get interesting Sheamus, man.
Mm-hmm. Plus, the WWE just has a strong lack of heels at the moment, so this kind of helps.
Exactly, man. And this is now rumor, so for those that haven't read this, take this with an absolute grain of salt. So this may be in the spoiler territory. It involves the WrestleMania 31 main event regarding Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm saying this really slow. So for those listening, you gotta hit pause.
If there was a moment website to put your tinfoil hat on, it would be right now. Because at the end of the day,
if you're driving, don't keep driving, man.
Yeah. Well, unless you have to pause and then look at whatever we're going to talk about and then turn the show back on when you're driving or not driving, when you're all safe and sound and ready to go. But yeah, at the end of the day, nobody's going to know what's happening till after Fastlane. So once again, to reiterate Juan's point, 100% speculation.
Speculation, because so after the 3 minutes of warning, if you haven't at some point paused, then you absolutely want to hear our discussion here. So,
and thank you.
To summarize, we may be getting a little bit of a deja vu where Daniel Bryan may be, somewhat maybe, inserted into the WrestleMania main event, because apparently, once again, you'll hear apparently and maybe a lot, but yeah, Vince McMahon has some kind of backstage meeting saying that he is willing to change the main event and insert Daniel Bryan, therefore making it a triple threat. This is, of course, based out of the lack of positive response regarding Roman Reigns. Anything from even Stone Cold saying that he's not ready. A lot of guys. So it's been a long time since we've had this much negativity regarding just one guy that's being pushed to WrestleMania.
Really?
So,
because I can think about it 365 days ago.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But I mean, think about the magnitude. We brought this up last week. I mean, Roman Reigns could potentially beat the guy that beat the guy, and ended the streak. So, having said that, triple threat match. We haven't discussed this at all. Kind of sucks that Ryan wasn't here, because I know we were really looking forward to this conversation. But yay or nay, and why?
I mean, yay. That means Daniel Bryan's in another WrestleMania main event, but I think the key wording here is that he's being inserted into the main event. It's not a guarantee that he's going to win it. So at the end of the day, what does it change? Absolutely nothing. Now it's just Roman Reigns is going to beat Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan in the same match, potentially.
Honestly, I don't like it.
No.
The moment I read it, it's a
cop-out. That's really what it is.
It's a cop-out, and it's a happy medium that benefits nobody. Because if you had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, for all the hate, it was going to be an entertaining match based on that crowd reaction. Because you had that thing where, you don't want Roman Reigns to win, so the heel will get cheered in that match. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic. If you had Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, you had David versus Goliath, and a legitimate match that people wanted for WrestleMania. But when you have a triple threat match, you're taking either one of the spotlights, and you're basically left with, so we have Daniel Bryan, so they cheer him. We have Roman Reigns because we want him to win. And then there's Brock Lesnar. All of a sudden, Brock Lesnar actually becomes the third guy, and he's the champion, man.
All right, so there's a couple of layers here, so I'm just going to break them down one by one here. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So now Daniel Bryan's in the main event, and now it's a triple threat.
Supposedly.
Potentially in the main event, let's say.
Perhaps.
So now to do this, that means nobody wins at Fastlane, at least clean. So now we're potentially losing a match at Fastlane just to appease people. But at the same time, we even said last week that nobody should beat Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one situation. He just seems so strong. How is that supposed to be believable? So maybe it's a good thing? I don't know. It's weird. And also, this is my last peel, but when does it become redundant to this whole get behind a guy and he ends up in the WrestleMania main event? Because this is potentially 2 years in a row now. So when does this get old, basically?
That's, I think, the biggest issue, because Daniel Bryan's career in the WWE has basically been shoved down WWE's throat, not shoved down our throats, because
when do they just fire him and say, you know what, this isn't our problem anymore?
Yeah, because the whole time it's just like, okay, fine. So if you're going to keep yelling, we'll throw him in whatever the hell match you want. Just stop, stop ruining the show. But guess what? It doesn't fit anybody, because we've done this for 2 years in a row now. So obviously that's a huge negative. And now it's gotten to the point where, you're taking the spotlight away from them, because, Brock Lesnar maybe shouldn't get pinned on a one-on-one match, but at the same time, if he did, it would be something special. But now we're left with, there's probably a good chance that Brock Lesnar will leave the WWE, and then he's basically going to walk out with the Undertaker streak, and his back. But it never meant anything, because it never concluded in anything. If that was the case, just had the streak be intact.
Exactly. That's probably the biggest tragedy of this all, that there's potential that nobody gets that torch just because we get what we want.
Exactly, man. But once again, this is speculation.
I guess we'll see at Fastlane.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, because Fastlane, so far between Rusev, Cena, the possibilities of Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, it's like Fastlane is the stop before WrestleMania. It really is. So in that sense, they're doing a good job, for better or worse. Fastlane is a show that you really got to watch to get an idea of how the show's going to end up.
Totally. I mean, I'll be watching. Will you be watching?
Yes, I will, man, for only $9.99. Having said that, just a quick reaction about Raw's main event. Reigns punching out Daniel Bryan, looking all pissed at the end. What are your thoughts, man?
I don't know. It's one of those another we'll see where it goes situations. Like maybe it's so weird what they're doing with Reigns right now. Is he face or do you think Reigns is face or heel right now? Because I honestly have no freaking idea what they're doing.
I think he has the John Cena treatment, and I'm not saying let's go Cena sucks. I'm saying he is in a feud, and however people want to react to whatever the hell he's doing, then there you go. It's like when John Cena faced Edge. Edge and a lot of the matches in the feud where he was cool, so they cheered him, and then Cena just got booed. Same thing with RVD at One Night Stand.
No, that's a very good point. Plus, to kind of remember that whole line that there's no more faces and no more heels anymore. Roman Reigns is he's really the centerpiece of that right now.
Yeah, exactly. But
never even thought of it that way. You just blew my mind.
You blew your own mind, man.
Yeah.
So proud of you, Keith.
Yay.
But yeah, that was definitely a thing. And the last tidbit I want to bring up for the moment on Raw was Gold and Stardust. Now, we brought it up in the podcast for the past couple of months, I should say. We talked about it last week where, yeah, they waited too little too late. But you know what? They're really doing an awesome job, I got to say, just building this up out of nowhere, making it very personal between Cody and Dustin, not just Gold and Stardust. And sort of the fact that Cody, he wants Cody to be dead. He wants Stardust to be the thing. What's your take on that?
I think it's awesome because, yeah, like you said, they're making this match feel somewhat important. But they're kind of solving our worry that we mentioned last week. What does Cody do afterwards? They're kind of making Stardust to seem like a thing even after this feud.
Exactly. And it's pretty cool that he's in denial. So, I don't really know how this is going to culminate, but in a good way. Because with the other things, you can tell they're fixing it up on the fly. There's some legitimate storytelling going on here where, yeah, the tag team was built up like crap since day one after they won the tag titles. But with this, you can tell it's going to climax in a WrestleMania match. But what's going to happen after? Is Goldust going to retire? Are we going to get Stardust? Are we going to get Cody? What do you think is going to happen? Well,
consider this. If Stardust stays Stardust, the crowd has something to chant at him now because they can chant Cody, Cody, and then get under Stardust's skin and make him go crazy. Kind of almost bringing Cody/Stardust deeper into the Stardust hole. They're doing very subtle, good character development with Stardust, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the fact that you brought that thing where they can chant Cody if he's a heel. Mm-hmm. It's very much like undashing Cody Rhodes. He's in Paranoid and all that stuff. And he was amazing in that.
That was amazing, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, if we get undashing Cody Rhodes again, I'm all for it. If anybody that's listening to the show, you haven't really had a chance to check out undashing Cody Rhodes, YouTube it, find it on the network, just whatever you do. But yeah, send us a tweet at Byte That Cast. Let us know what you thought about that thing. Now, there's that thing, but there's this thing now, which is this week's Tweet of the
Week. That's right. Now, normally this is the spot where I say money shot, but considering the
circumstances,
we're gonna say
the circumcisions.
No, we're not gonna say that. We're gonna skip the whole money shot stick this week. All right.
Even though you brought it up,
I know. I'm letting it's a little bit of a visual imagination, word play, fun time. All right. This week's tweet of the week. I went to the old r/squared circle, which if you do not check out, I highly recommend you go check out at r/squared circle. All right. Now,
in Reddit, for those that don't know.
Yes, and Reddit. Thank you. Now, this week's Reddit post of the week goes to Steve Isles TCL, and it's from the Raw discussion thread. Well, we did want Seth Rollins to become this generation's Shawn Michaels. Step 1, start in a tag team. Step 2, turn on your partners. Step 3, 5-star matches. Step 4, pose naked. Step 5, win the WWE title. Step 6, pills. Step 7, repeat step 5. Step 8, repeat step 6. Step 9, find Jesus. Step 10, reunite the Shield in a corny, kid-friendly way.
What?
That has been this week's
Tweet of the week.
Thank you, Keith, for that very interesting and kind of confusing tweet of the week. But we'll take it. You know, we love you, man.
You know, just listen back to it a couple times. It'll all make sense. Even write down the steps if you need to. It'll all work out in the end.
For those that want to keep track, write it down in a piece of paper, take a picture, send a tweet, we'll retweet it and favorite it, just because, you know, you go through that extra effort, so we'll do that. Having said that, make sure to check out the YouTube channel also, which is where we post the podcast as well as all the other places, but we got some cool stuff. This week, we have a brand new squared roundtable. We're going to be talking about the possibility of what if the WWE Network were to fail. You can also check out Byte That, which is where we play some WWE games. Ryan and I commentate. You know, we go into these deep characters like Chicken Shiat. We got the Banana Dandy. Crazy stuff, man. It's fun
And the most trending man in sports entertainment.
Jason Trendset. Who is he?
Yeah.
Check out the channel. Because realistically, let's face it, you know, wrestling's about silly stuff also, so we added some silliness to the channel because it's good times. We love doing it. Hope you guys do too. Now, getting into more news that we found out, apparently Rikishi is the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, this got a lot of mixed reactions in social media. Personally, I'm kind of like, I'm torn. I'm like Natalie and Brooklyn or something, but I don't know. He's had an interesting career. As Keith clearly wants to punch me in the face right now. But Rikishi, Hall of Fame, Keith, reactions.
I mean, the best way to describe it is lukewarm. Like, that's cool, I guess. It's weird. Like, there's I could probably name off 10 people that I would put in the Hall of Fame before Rikishi. Maybe it's because of the whole Samoan legacy and like, hey, let's throw someone from the family in the Hall of Fame. Who do we got? Rikishi. Let's throw him in. All right, cool. But I don't know. Why would you put him in before somebody like the Legion of Doom or even the New Age Outlaws or somebody like even the Godfather who was around for so dang long or Viscera or somebody? It just seems weird.
I mean, obviously they can't throw, you know, the biggest guys all in a row, so maybe that's why they're doing it. And we're not saying that he's had a bad WWE career. I mean,
not at all. But
he actually had a great run as a heel. You know, I mean, he was in that Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
All right. One quick point. I take everything back that I just said. If he gets up on stage and says, everything in my career, I did it for The Rock. And then all is well in the world.
Well, I guess that's true. There is a possibility he does that. But we actually got a tweet during that when it was revealed by Mr. Justin Bohannon. And he said, share some thoughts on Rikishi in the Hall of Fame on the podcast this week. We are.
Well, we just
I
did.
do not think he is worthy at all. When I think Rikishi, I think Stinkface and Scotty Too Hottie. No matches or rivalries even come to mind. Hashtag Samoan Brooklyn Brawler. Ouch.
To be fair,
that's the thing. Yeah.
Rikishi is one of two people that have been thrown off the top of a Hell in a Cell. Like, he's had a couple of big moments.
But what about like a top match? When you think Rikishi, what is a rivalry, a feud did you think about and go, oh, okay. Okay, no. Do not bring up the fact that he ran over Stone Cold, okay? We're not doing that. That's too easy.
Well, that's really the only one. I mean, beyond that, he was part of the Armageddon 6-man Hell in a Cell, but I don't know, maybe his tag team run with Too Cool is really, like, that's really all Rikishi is, that and a stink face. It's kind of unfortunate.
And yeah, we do know that he was Rikishi before, being named Rikishi, but it's the name that's being inducted. So we got to keep in mind it's that character, that gimmick. I mean, I guess we can sit here and debate. There are other guys in the Hall of Fame that probably should not be there. Coco B, where a lot of people were saying, I mean, if he's in there, why not Rikishi? And to that,
but
I say,
at the same time, why not the Legion of Doom then? I think that's the big, big, big omission right now.
I know they do need to induct Animal and Heidenreich. I mean, it was an amazing tag team, and I mean, friggin' Heidenreich, little Johnny, whatever happened to him.
And then bring in LOD 2000 while you're at it, because why not?
And then after those two, then we'd bring in Animal and Hawk, right?
Yes.
Too many people want to punch us right now, Keith. It's a very negative episode. We love you.
Yes, we love you all.
Yeah. So there is another bit of interesting news that came out of the fact that there was an NXT Takeover Rival conference call where Triple H even made reference to the whole Seth Rollins situation. But tied to this is some news about the fact that maybe NXT is going nationwide. So this is a report coming out of the PW Insider. So Keith, could you read it for us?
I sure can. The report is, WWE is planning on taking NXT out of the Florida area and having it on the road by the end of 2015. Interestingly, WWE is exploring the option of organizations and charities buying the event from the WWE and producing the show, and whichever organization chooses to do so would then take the money from ticket sales and concessions, therefore saving the WWE money from the show being on the road. We will have more details when they become available. Now that's quite an interesting thing, because one of the big things that I really enjoy about NXT is its production value, how it's like, it feels like a big show in that small area, and if you outsource that, I don't know if NXT would lose its fidelity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, from a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense because they could tax deduct a lot of these things also, because if they do charity events and all that, I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, yeah, you're ruining the show's integrity, maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe it has a new, interesting appeal about the fact that it's going to be...
Maybe the WWE only does the televised shows, so that way they keep it that way.
Yeah, or maybe they even have exclusive network shows. So, like, if there's a charity show, it doesn't really affect the main show, but it's like bonus matches.
And I mean, it could be cool for the fact, like, another big thing with NXT is the fact that it's at Full Sail, right? So it gives students or production students the opportunity to learn how to do live, big, like, organized shows. So maybe that gives other schools and stuff the possibility of being able to learn stuff like that. So that could be a benefit.
Exactly, and even more so, what if they took some of the students out of Full Sail and said, you know what, you're traveling with us, go for these couple shows so they get that motion experience. I mean, you get the benefit of charities, tax deduction, company image, and you help out production students. I mean,
would you say that's best for business, Juan?
That is amazing for business, way more than probably even Raw and SmackDown. Because think about that publicity; it's amazing. Mix that with the Performance Center, bam, you got some awesome stuff, man.
And it's like we said last week: if NXT was showing up in our towns, we'd buy a ticket in a heartbeat.
Absolutely, man. If NXT was anywhere nearby, I don't care how much it cost. Okay, so maybe if it cost a little bit too much, I maybe wouldn't go. But NXT is amazing. That's why I do want to talk about NXT Takeover Rival. It's going to be a prediction / state of the NXT thing, because you know what? We don't really get a lot of time to talk about NXT here on the podcast, but we're doing it this week. We got Takeover Rival taking place on the network. This may be the best card I think they put out in an NXT match by match. I care about every single match. So
isn't
Keith,
it the biggest card as well?
Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 matches announced. So it's about the usual amount that we get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so having said that, let's get to a couple of the matches. Number 1, Hideo Itami versus Tyler Breeze. Quick context here. Tyler Breeze was absent for a little while. For those that haven't been keeping track, Hideo Itami lost the number one contenders tournament when he faced Finn Balor. Tyler Breeze comes back, beats him down backstage. We got this match. What's your take on it?
I mean, it's going to be a great match. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm blanking here on the spot, but didn't Itami and Breeze have a match a couple of weeks ago in the number one contenders tournament? Or was that Breeze and Balor?
No, Breeze, I believe, was actually not part of the tournament because he was absent for a little while. They actually took him off TV for about a month or two.
Because when he came back, he had a match with one of those two. And now, dang it, I can't remember which one. But
yeah, but that was just before the tournament, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. Same thing, I mean, we had Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin face each other off, and now we have a post-tournament match also because they had the first match, then they had the tournament match, and now there's all this happening.
But regardless, it's probably going to be it's going to be an amazing match, and maybe Itami will finally hit the GTS.
You know what? Let's talk about Itami for a couple minutes because I think Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, they came into NXT and quickly just took over, no pun intended, and they blended with the style. But am I missing something with Itami? Because when I look at him, I still don't feel like we're getting what we thought we were going to be getting. Because for quick context, you and I have seen Kenta matches.
Yes.
You know, way back when he was facing Punk and all that. So it's not like we're unknown to this guy. But that's why I'm saying this feels a little weird.
I agree with you. It almost feels like you mentioned Balor and Owens. They have that thing that separates them from everybody else. I don't know if Itami's found that yet. He doesn't have it yet. Now, what that is, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but it just seems to be missing.
Obviously, we do know that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk borrowed a lot from his moveset.
But not even from a moveset, or like the character of Hideo Itami just seems to be missing that one piece that will like kind of bring it all together.
Do you remember when he debuted, he came out in like a tuxedo, dressed all fancy? That looked badass. But now they took that away, and should they kind of go back to that?
I mean, yeah, it adds a little bit more character than sure. What could it hurt, really?
Okay, so having said all that, who's going to win, man?
I'm going to go with Itami on this one.
Yeah, I got to agree. He really does need that win. Just because it feels like he's fading away. I know we're quick to react NXT's developmental, but yeah, I'm going with Itami too. Next match, no DQ. This is the rematch. After the rematch, we got Bull Dempsey taking on Baron Corbin. Now, I want to hear your thoughts about Bull Dempsey because I don't think we've ever talked about him here.
No, not really. Bull Dempsey, I like Bull Dempsey's character personally, how he's like the last of the old generation of those guys, those big, rough bruisers. But do you think Dempsey has lived up to that in that respect?
Nope.
Yeah, no, not at all. So maybe this is like the kill switch on Bull Dempsey, because on the complete opposite of that perspective, there's Baron Corbin, his opponent, where, in my opinion, he's delivered in all aspects of that, being the guy. I really like their gimmick of Baron Corbin does not get paid by the hour. How he just comes in, beats the crap out of you, and then leaves. I felt like that's what they were going with Bull, but they're actually succeeding with Corbin.
Now, this is an interesting thing because Corbin has a mixed reaction online because some people are saying, you know what, this guy, his gimmick is, kind of like Raven meets a tall guy, meets Lance Hoyt, meets a ton of guys, and he hasn't really proven himself.
I disagree with that because they've straight up said his gimmick is basically to steal something from Paul Heyman, arrive, conquer, leave. It's just, they've like straight up said, oh, Baron Corbin isn't a guy that gets paid by the hour. Like, yeah, he's got the whole flashy wolf gimmick thing going on, but I think that's just Corbin.
How badass is his entrance, though?
It's badass the first few times, but it starts to get old.
Yeah, it is a pretty long entrance for the NXT arena, I will say that. But having said that, who wins, man?
Is there any doubt that Corbin will lose?
I don't know. I mean, it's 2-0, so Corbin should by definition win. So you know what? I'm picking him too.
I honestly think that they're going to beat Dempsey up, or Corbin's going to beat Dempsey up so bad that it leads to them hitting the kill switch on Dempsey and then maybe repackaging him.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that ever since Kevin Owens came in, Kevin Owens is basically Bull Dempsey's character, but better.
Totally.
So yeah, it doesn't work. Hopefully he gets repackaged because I think he does have something to him. I don't think the Bull Dempsey character is, but we'll figure something out. But now getting to what could be the match of the night. There are multiple matches that could be the match of the night, but this is the number one contenders match for the NXT Championship. We have Finn Balor, who is the sex stallion of NXT, taking on the former NXT champion Adrian Neville. Now, first off,
you've got a
Adrian
weird
Neville.
definition of sex stallion, by the way.
I know, man. Just go along with it.
All right.
But yeah, talking about Adrian Neville first. What do you think about his run after losing the championship?
I am never not impressed by Adrian Neville personally. I love his in-ring ability. I love his ability. Adrian Neville is the perfect Hardy Boy, if that makes sense. He almost
what?
No, but hold on, hear me out. He, as far as wrestling style goes, he almost blends Matt and Jeff perfectly. Like he's got the crazy high flying, flashy stuff, but he can also work the mat and the ground and that stuff too. Like he's the perfect Hardy Boy. You see what I'm saying here?
You have blown my mind.
And I love Adrian Neville. I got really upset when they talked about the whole Mighty Mouse potentially thing, because I want to see nothing but the best for this guy. Now, that being said, him and Balor are going to tear the effing roof off of that arena. And how crazy is it that might not even be the match of the night? But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, because the previous NXT TakeOver shows, just to summarize, they've had many good matches you're looking forward to, but there's always that one match. But here, it's just, up the charts. But talking about Neville, I think that the perfect Hardy Boy, how can I even top that description? Seriously. So
Put that on a
ask
t-shirt.
you about Finn Balor. What's your take on the face paint and then just everything else about him?
So is it established at this point that Balor just brings the face paint out for the pay-per-views? Or
well, the reasoning that's been reported backstage is because since they tape the NXTs like 4 in a row, it's just not possible for him to get all the face paint done differently for each one. So
I mean,
that's
it totally
why he's
makes
doing
sense.
it right now for that.
It totally makes sense, but Balor, that's the thing that separates Balor. If you talk about how Baron Corbin's entrance gets old after a while, Balor is the polar opposite of that, where it's awesome every single time he comes out. Like, it almost really hits that same vibe that the Undertaker's entrance hits, where it can possibly send a chill down your spine if you're not ready for it. And it's really cool. Plus, Balor has the in-ring work to back it up. He really always has. So, another person that has a great future, potentially.
I'm just going to throw this in there. You bounce it back, or you tell me I blew your mind. You ready, man?
All right.
If Baron Corbin, if Adrian Neville is the perfect Hardy Boy, wrong guy.
Yeah.
But if Adrian Neville is the perfect Hardy Boy, then this man, Finn Balor, is Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy combined into one. Bam!
Totally.
Balloon.
Yes.
Balloon. I even changed the word blown to balloon, man. That's how things work.
You blew in your mind there, chap.
No, but I think that he has an amazing look because he has the good-looking, silver spoon type thing with like Randy Orton, but then his wrestling style is completely the opposite of what you usually see in a guy like that. And then on top of that, you had the badass entrance, and on top of that,
you had the
amazing
dark
theme.
side, basically.
Yeah. And then you concluded with the amazing face paint. So he's money. I mean,
he's really the
that man,
total package. He is this day's Lex Luger. He is the total package as far as a superstar goes. When Randy Orton is long gone, if JBL's still around, he'll say, if you were to model a sports entertainer, you'd make him look like Finn Balor.
Oh, it is so sad that I totally see that as a viable thing being said in the future. So having said that, why is Adrian Neville not going to win?
I think that Neville is not going to win because he is on the verge of being called up. And that's really the only reason.
Yeah, same.
But
this is a match that's really hard to predict.
That being said,
Uh-oh.
maybe Neville does win because, okay, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here, and here's my whole theory about how this whole pay-per-view is going to go.
Go for it.
We're going to have the winner of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens be the winner, and then that's going to lead to a situation where this leads to some sort of WrestleMania match in whatever form it takes. So maybe Neville wins, and that's going to be the platform for that WrestleMania match. Neville goes on that platform.
I mean, if there's anybody that can really steal the spotlight on WrestleMania, it is Adrian Neville. So, I mean, that is a possibility. I'm personally picking Finn Balor just because I think that given Adrian Neville's previous title reign, they probably cannot top that. So that's how we're going to be getting.
And I'm going to go with Neville. I'm going to go with Neville on this one for that reason.
Damn, I'm looking forward to our chat next week after which Takeover.
Indeed.
Now, we got an NXT Championship match. We'll talk quickly about this one. Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy, who I want to quickly point out, this man, Buddy Murphy in particular, he's got an outstanding future. There's something about this guy. I look at him wrestling, just his look, everything. He is awesome. Are taking on the Lucha Dragons, the previous champions, which they invoked their rematch clause. So, Keith, what's up with that?
First of all, I'd like to take a quick side note and say Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy are basically personify the reason I love NXT, because really anything can happen there. You have these guys that basically came out of nowhere and then boom, just won the tag team titles. That's part of the magic of NXT. But as far as a match goes, I'm going to go with Blake and Murphy on this one because there's the rumors that the Lucha Dragons will be splitting up soon. So why would they give them the championships?
Exactly. Now, a quick question. Is it just me or did the Lucha Dragons never click?
No, they really didn't. It's just like, hey, here's two guys that like Lucha Libre and they both have masks and they have a catchy theme song. Let's put them together and go. But I never really liked the Lucha Dragons personally.
Yeah, because I think Kalisto is freaking amazing.
He's
I want to
incredible.
see a match between him and Adrian Neville, but Sin Cara in there? I don't know. I didn't feel that excitement to really be chanting Lucha.
Yeah, it almost felt like they just needed something for Sin Cara to do. Like, he wasn't going to be on the main roster, so let's throw him down in NXT. Oh, hey, that guy wears a mask. Let's put him with the other mask guy and then give them a title.
Yeah, so you've pretty much revealed your pick, so yeah, I agree. We got Blake and Murphy retaining the championships. I love that NXT permits this because, yeah, we would never see this happen on Raw. We haven't seen this on Raw in a couple of years. These new guys just completely show up. Yeah, I get it. We can talk about Paige, but the Divas division, WWE treats us like, yeah, WWE doesn't really do a great job with that. But the NXT Divas division, however, is completely different. We're getting a Fatal 4-Way match where 3 of the 4 divas are properly built because Becky Lynch, I have my issues with her. I'm sorry. But it is Charlotte defending the championship versus Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. So before we give our predictions, since it's 4 people, we don't have a lot of time, just give us like a quick review of each diva in your perspective.
Charlotte, awesome. Gonna do great things. Sasha Banks, awesome. Gonna do great things. Bayley, awesome. Gonna do great things. And Becky Lynch, eh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Becky. I feel like I gotta apologize. That was way too mean. But
Becky Lynch is a great wrestler, but it almost seems like she just tries so hard to make that punk rock thing work, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that Charlotte is an amazing diva or female wrestler. You know what? I'm allowed to say that. She has gotten better in each and every match when it comes to storytelling. Originally, WWE tried to parody her too much. You know, she's Ric Flair's daughter. Get it? So she has the Flair type theme. She has the figure 4 neck lock, but she's really found herself.
Totally.
Sasha Banks is like the best wrestler in WWE, not just diva. There's something about her.
Plus, not only that,
great.
Sasha Banks, I would argue, is the best female heel since, geez, I don't even know when. I might say she's one of the best of all time, in complete honesty.
Yeah, she is freaking awesome, man. She's not a heel that you hate, but you try to dislike because you get her character.
Totally.
Like, she has it down. Another person that's like that is Bayley. I mean, Bayley took a gimmick that I remember when they debuted her, everybody was saying, okay, so she's like the female Eugene or something.
Yeah.
But she's really transformed that into its own.
Totally. I mean, she has freaking wacky inflatable tube men in her entrance.
What more could you ask for, man?
Totally.
And then there's Becky Lynch. So having said that,
I mean, going back to Bayley for a second. Sorry, Becky Lynch once again, but there is a chant that puts Bayley on the same level as Samoa Joe. I mean, that's really all you need to say.
Exactly. I mean, she's gonna hug everybody. She's getting a new shirt also that's about the hugging thing. I don't think that gimmick will transition at all to the main roster, but you know, for NXT, it's absolutely perfect. It's an intimate audience. It works. Who wins, man?
I'm gonna go with Sasha Banks on this one. I think Charlotte's one of the people that's on the precipice of being called up, maybe right after WrestleMania. And I think they're going to lead into something involving Sasha Banks and Bayley going forward. So I'm going to give this one to Banks.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it is her time. I think that her and Bayley can really have a great feud because even though they've been feuding, I think adding the championship, it's going to be kind of like Zayn when he was chasing Neville for the championship, where like Zayn did whatever it took. He was already feuding with all these guys, but he could just never get it. So I think that Bayley cannot have that championship right now. I'd wait almost a year. Just have that be the next Daniel Bryan, the next Sami Zayn winning the NXT championship, and it's going to be awesome. So we both agree it's going to be Sasha Banks. So last and unbelievably by no means least, NXT championship match. Sami Zayn defending against the former Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens. Very personal feud. Kevin Owens' second match in NXT, if you really think about it, because he's had a lot of scenes, but we don't really know what Kevin Owens is like in WWE yet, and I think that's awesome.
If there is a match that is going to trump Neville and Balor and just blow the building apart, it is going to be this match. It is going to be intense. It is going to be crazy. And most importantly, it is going to be awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am going to be working during TakeOver. I realized that last week, and after crying a little bit. Yeah, this is the match I almost want to fast forward to. I'm going to try my best to not read the spoilers, but I mean, we have our Twitter account, so I know that there's like a 90% chance, 99.999 chance that I will read the spoilers, but this match, man, I don't even know what to expect. I just hope that these guys are giving it enough time to tell a story so much that the WWE goes, you know what? Throw these two at WrestleMania somehow. Or maybe make it another triple threat. We got an NXT triple threat match at WrestleMania. I want some NXT in WrestleMania, man.
Agreed. Now, to talk about this match, it's just the fact that we don't know what's going to happen is really what makes this match so exciting. This is going to be a weird out there comparison again, almost on the level of my Hardy Boys one, but
that's a tough one.
It's almost that I'm excited for this match the same reasons I'm excited for Triple H and Sting, because you just don't know what this match is going to be, and that's so exciting.
Your comparisons this episode, man, just wow.
Yeah.
But who wins?
I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens, just because you know I mentioned earlier about the whole WrestleMania NXT thing. The situation I could see, if it's going to be a possibility, is Kevin Owens wins. He gets the better of Zayn. Zayn uses his rematch clause for WrestleMania. Neville uses his number one contendership, and it does end up being a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
So I'm copycatting your response. I'm just switching your Neville with my Balor. We're switching trading cards right now. It's happening in the podcast.
All right, we got the link cable in. We're ready to go.
Game Boy, all right, man.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I agree. I think Owens should win because that would add so much fuel to the fire because he can't lose at the beginning, and I can't see like a dusty finish. I can't see like a weird finish. So I would say cleanly Kevin Owens beats Sami Zayn. It messes him psychologically, so we get that amazing match at WrestleMania.
I would almost say that there's potential for it to go, well, not as extreme, into like Brock Lesnar versus John Cena SummerSlam levels of just Owens annihilating Zayn.
That would be something. Maybe to the point where, since they were best friends or something, Zayn just cannot go to that next level that's needed to beat Owens.
Then he turns Super Saiyan. Super Zayn?
Only way to do it, man.
Yeah.
I got
Let that one
one
sink in for a minute. There you go.
But yeah, that was it for our NXT Takeover Rival predictions. So we will definitely check it out. Probably talk about it on the podcast next week. Having said that, it's time for some very interesting questions. First, we got from Mr. J4 Gaming YT on Twitter. So Keith, take it away, man.
Once again, Mr. J4 hits the old Louisville Slugger of a question this week. And it is, if you were a wrestler, state what scenario it would have to take to get to the lowest point in your career. Now, this is an interesting question. Because, first of all, we would have absolutely no idea.
Yeah. It's like, I'm employed by WWE. Throw me against anybody, man. Yeah. I don't care.
But, to take the easy answer, I'm going to take the easy road here. Let's say somebody went on your phone and accidentally sent out a picture or two that might incriminate you in some fashion. Maybe that would be a very low point in your career.
Yeah, that would, or the best way to debut Solomon Crow, but that's another story. For me, thing is, it's so relative. Like, I guess if you were telling like a storyline perspective, I would honestly just say Zack Ryder's story.
Totally.
Between like the Eve Torres, John Cena triangle, because holy crap, man, that was such a one-sided story in every way. I mean, you injured Zack Ryder, you threw him off a wheelchair, and then that was it. Like, that was the last time. You literally buried the guy. All you needed was to just pour dirt on the man, for crying out loud.
Exactly. And I guess another answer to this question would be just any plain old injury. Like, you're on top of the world. How many times has it happened? Look at Daniel Bryan, where he was on top of the world, just won at WrestleMania, then boom, he's gone. Like, that had to be a pretty big low point.
Yeah, probably. Just like having to really start, from down up. I guess a guy like Dolph Ziggler has really had a career like that, where he's become world champion and then proceeds to be almost at the low of the card because of, whatever the hell reason. So that's one thing. Thank you, Mr. J4 Gaming. Now we got another question from Mr. Cody Collier at Cody Collier 12 on the Twitter machine. Take it away, Keith.
His question is, what do you think is the best 2-count kick that has ever happened in WWE history?
2-count kick out, because, you're not kicking somebody at 2.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I meant. My apologies, Mr. Collier.
See, my answer is such a cheap answer. And I'm afraid it's going to be your answer,
no,
too.
No, it's totally the exact same answer.
Yeah.
So I will just say it. Because we're a little biased in this respect, it happened at WrestleMania 28. There was the end of an era match. We were there. That's why we're biased, by the way. It was the end of the era match. It's when Shawn Michaels hit the sweet chin music into the Triple H's pedigree on The Undertaker. Yep. And then it was 1, 2, and then The Undertaker kicked out. And there wasn't a person sitting in that entire arena. It was really a magical moment. And it's my personal favorite.
Yeah, it was amazing because of when you're there live, a 2-count on TV, you may just say like, we get it, it's not over. But just the atmosphere when you're live, it really sucks you into the match. And it got just to a point where, we're like hugging people next to us. We've talked about it in the podcast before, but it never gets old to really think about that for one night, our entire row, we were like best friends. And the moment was like 1, 2, all of us just yelled like, oh my God.
Because that was like... Think about all the people that have been brought down by that move. Like, that was a real, the streak might end right here moment. And magical is the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, so it was absolutely amazing. Thank you both, Cody and J4 Gaming, for the question. If you got any questions to send us to the show, send us a tweet at Byte That Cast. So since Ryan isn't here, Juan, why did you take it away, man? All right, guys. Well, it's been it for this week's edition of Byte That. If you want to interact with us, send us a tweet at Byte That Cast. You can also follow us on Facebook by hitting that like button when you search Byte That Cast. Now, say you listen to the podcast. Say you want to get a little bit more of us. You can also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Byte That Cast, where we got the fight nights, we got WWE fantasy matches, we got the roundtables, Top 10 Video Games Countdown, Top 10 WrestleMania Moments, the Let Him Go music video, all the stuff that's happening and it's just getting started, people. We passed over 1,200 subscribers. Thank you for your support, for being awesome, for interacting with us. Remember to check out the podcast every single Tuesday night. And hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, do us a favor, check us out and leave us a review at iTunes and any of the websites that we really bring up. It is the best way to support us, and hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. We don't ask for money. You know what we ask for? Your love and your hand in marriage. Yeah. Exactly. So until next time, for Keith and Juan, I love you, Ryan. I miss you. See you soon, and we'll be back next week with Byte That. See you next week.